Hey, customers, welcome back for another episode of Fast Film, where we cover all the news and reviews just for yous. This week, we're going to be covering August 1st through 6th. For trailers this week, Luis, you got the first one?
Yeah, so normally I don't like musicals. I hate musicals, but a trailer from A24 just released called Dix the Musical. And I have to say, this one looks pretty damn funny. It's about two business rivals who find out that they're identical twins and decide to swap places to try to bring their parents back together. It's expected to release sometime in September. No exact date yet, though.
Then for I Am Groot Season 2, they got a new trailer. The first one, it's just a collection of short films starring Baby Groot. Everybody loves Baby Groot. He's super cute. So we're going to get another collection of these shorts. That's going to be coming to Disney Plus on September 6th.
And never I would have thought that we'd get a movie about a killer sloth, but here we are with Slaughterhouse. A senior is trying to become president of her sorority, and she adopts a sloth, hoping to make it the mascot and win the presidential spot. But apparently that the sloth is actually a killer. It's doing a series of murders, and this one's going to release on August 30th, and I'm actually pretty excited for this one.
Very slow murders. And then we also have The Kill Room. That's going to be a new movie starring Uma Thurman and Samuel L. Jackson. It's also going to have Joe Manganiello in it. Looks like Uma Thurman runs a art studio. It's kind of struggling a little bit, so she gets connected with Samuel L. Jackson. They just kind of use her studio to run money. Or launder money through it. Joe Manganiello also becomes an artist, it looks like, called the Bagman. That's going to be part of this whole thing. I'm sure it's going to be an action comedy like we expect. A lot of Samuel L. Jackson stuff has been lately. That's going to be coming to theaters on September 29th.
And we also got a trailer for Satanic Hispanics. It's a horror anthology movie, but with Mexicans. A man is brought in for questioning after police raid a house, and they find him being the only survivor and a bunch of dead Mexicans. And in the questioning, he tells different stories of his life involving demons and other spiritual beings. It looks pretty good. It actually looks pretty scary. I thought it was going to be a comedy with the name, but no, it's actually just a straight-up horror film. It's expected to release October 26th. And now let's get into some headlines.
So first headline we have this week is Barbie's the 51st movie to pass the $1 billion mark at the box office. It's really quite the phenomenon. I mean, everywhere I've gone, there's a theater right by where I work, and there's still people showing up dressed in pink for this thing. I'm sure it's going to keep going. I believe it's the second $1 billion movie of the year, right behind Super Mario Bros. But with how everything is going, I wouldn't be surprised if this one passes it.
Wasn't Avatar $1 billion movie also this year?
That was technically last year. That was December.
Yeah. Okay, and unfortunately, we have some sad news. Mark Margolis has passed away at the age of 83. Most people will know him as Hector Salamanca in Breaking Bad. He's the guy in the wheelchair fucking pressing the bell. He was also in Scarface. I didn't know this until I rewatched Scarface a couple years ago, and he's in it, and he looks the same as he did. Sadly, passed away. He was a great actor. He played his roles amazingly, but unfortunately, he has passed away.
Yeah, we'll miss him for sure. So a little bit in the MCU rumor mill. Right now, it looks like Vanessa Kirby and Joseph Quinn are being eyed to play Sue and Johnny Storm. I'm not really sure how this is working out since all the actors are on strike, how we can even know if people are in talks, since technically they shouldn't be in talks. But, if these guys are going to do it, they're both really good. Vanessa Kirby, most people, I know her from the Mission Impossible movie. She's the White Widow. And I'm pretty sure everybody just knows Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things as Eddie. So, they're both really good. I'm sure they could do a great job if they get casted in this role. I'm hoping it's actually them. So we'll see what they end up doing. And then another superhero news. It looks like Gal Gadot might be coming back as Wonder Woman, part of the whole DCU with James Gunn. It is kind of interesting that they're picking her to stay, but we're getting rid of Cavill and we're getting a new Batman for this. So I'm not really sure what they're doing with the DCU, but I love Gal Gadot. She's one of the better looking actresses in Hollywood for sure. She might not be the best actress, but she's good as Wonder Woman. So hopefully she sticks around.
And Emily Blunt has recently said that she's ready to do another Edge of Tomorrow sequel, and that she has also read the script. The first film was great. It was an awesome movie. I just feel like it's a good standalone film. I don't think it really needs a sequel. I feel like the story was pretty much told. But if we do get a sequel, I would love it to be a prequel with her character. She was a badass. But yeah, let's do some reviews.
So for reviews this week, I was finally able to catch up and finish The Righteous Gemstones. It's the end of the third and maybe final season. They really do kind of wrap everything up. This whole season was really about the difference between their family and then just like this militaristic Christian family that they were related to. It's all just the conflict between the two of them all season. Of course, there's comedy that ensues because it's a Danny McBride show, so it's what you can expect. I'm kind of hoping this is the end because it seems like a good place to end. I loved Eastbound Eastbound and Down, but that show went on a little too long, so might be for the best for this to be the end. Otherwise, this season and this series definitely gets a dope from me. If you like Danny McBride, you're gonna continue liking his work, and this is definitely his work.
I love Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, me too.
I finally got to finish Twisted Metal on Peacock, and it's a fun show. It has really good humor. The humor kind of shows that this show doesn't really take it too seriously. But I was a little disappointed that the show didn't have the tournament like in the games, but the cliffhanger at the end does make up for it. It's setting up season 2 where they're actually talking about the tournament is happening. It's actually going to happen. And Calypso is heard and he's seen from his back, but he's only in it for like a minute or two. He wasn't a major character in this, but he will be a major character in the second season and hopefully does get greenlit. I would love to see this one. The action was great. The final episode also had an action sequence where all the cars seemed like it was in the game and it looked really cool. So I can't wait for the new season to see what they actually do with the tournament. And I give this one a dope for sure.
Nice. So I was able to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. You know, it's the newest Ninja Turtle movie. I mean, there's been a bunch by now, some of those live action ones from the 90s and now some other animated ones. This one definitely puts a heavy emphasis on them being teenagers, like their personalities are just them as teenagers. There's even spots in the movie where they didn't they would actually record this with all the kids that were like together when they do their voice acting. So there's times where they were just joking around and they had just kept the mics going that they ended up throwing into the movie, which is kind of a cool idea because, I mean, they're kids playing kids, let it go. I really enjoyed this, though. The art style was a little to get used to, but I still enjoyed it. You know, you kind of need to switch it up on the style for your animation nowadays. Like you have Spider-Verse with the way they do stuff, and now this one. You could definitely see why it's a lot of the Mitchells versus the Machines people did this one. But overall, this writing's really good. Every character in this really gets a story arc, not just the Turtles, but you got Splinter, April, and even the villain, Superfly. Every single character gets their own story arc, and they do a really good job by balancing that all out. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. There is one sequence in there that sticks out to my mind where they're like going around beating up a bunch of different like mini crime bosses, and like it's just montaging through the fights. It looks so great. Overall, this movie gets a dope from me, and I hope they make enough at the box office to get another one.
And The Meg 2 also released this week, and this is one of those movies you could just sit down, turn your brain off, and enjoy. Some of the deaths in this movie are pretty insane. We get to see someone just implode and die instantly underwater, and that was really cool. It just happens out of nowhere, just catches you off guard. But we also do get to see a few more other creatures. We do have like about 3 or 4 more megalodons in this one. I'm giving this one an eye just because it's not a great story. It's just a fun shark movie. It's kind of like Sharknado kind of thing. It's not that great, but it's just a fun movie to watch in the background occasionally. So yeah, I'm just gonna give this one an eye for the Meg 2. And for this week's Deep Cuts, we're gonna be doing a little different. We're gonna be throwing a couple horror movies at you since the next week we have The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is gonna be a horror movie. Frank, what's yours?
I'm going with Hereditary this week. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it before, at least on the podcast or something. This is probably my favorite horror movie of all time. It's definitely the one I've seen the most. It's by Ari Aster. It came out in 2018. I don't want to get too much into detail on what this story is about, but it's Toni Collette is the mother of a family, and then her mother passes away, and it kind of follows this crazy situation that takes place after the grandmother passes away. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into it, but Ari Aster does more of the psychological horror kind of stuff. For those who haven't seen Beau is Afraid, that's another one by him that's kind of the same deal. But I really enjoyed this one. You can check it out right now on Max.
And for my deep cut, I'm picking John Carpenter's 1982 film, The Thing. This is a classic horror movie. It's a great sci-fi film. As an alien begins to start replicating humans in a research base in Antarctica, and the humans have to figure out who's real and who is the thing. It has great practical effects. It's barely any CGI in it. It just looks amazing and cool. You have a head that grows legs and starts crawling around. I think you can see it in the fucking picture up. But it's a great horror movie. Unfortunately, it's not streaming, but you could rent it for a little over $3.50 on Amazon Prime. Thanks for watching this week's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Here's the latest releases coming up this week.
Hey, Luis.
Yep.
Do you like dags?
I got to take a shit, dude.